and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hopdahl.
And today we're talking about You, Season 3. Meg, we have been on a whirlwind ride of travel and book signings because we had our book, The Science of Serial Killers, come out on the 19th. And your book came out last week, Twisted Reveries 3, your third collection of short stories. How does it feel?
Yes, it feels so good. I bet people are tired of our faces, but too bad.
Too bad. We're around. You're not going to get rid of us. We're busy and we're loving life and we're living it because I realize it's November now, but it's always Halloween in our hearts.
Exactly. It is always Halloween. You know, it's hard to answer questions like, what do you do special for Halloween? Because it's just every day is horror movies and loads of candy. Just kidding.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Speaking of candy, some eye candy, Joe Goldberg on You Season 3. I know he's problematic, but I love him.
No, you don't have to apologize. You certainly don't have to apologize to me and or anyone. I think everybody understands that we love him in a complicated bad boy fictional character way.
Yes, we do not love serial killers
or stalkers.
Yeah, no, all of that's problematic. It's just such good writing. I can't help
it. It is.
I love the show.
It's his inner monologues are so dexterish, but sexier.
I know. Okay, so we're going to get into some spoilers, friends. If you haven't watched season 3 of You, go watch it immediately because it's worth it. And we're gonna talk about it in depth, and we don't want to give it away because it's too good. So spoilers coming. Okay, so obviously this does not follow Carolyn Kepnes's third book. It goes off in its own direction, and I freaking loved it. Joe and Love have a baby, Henry, who the grandma is calling 40, or the glamma is calling 40. She's convinced is reincarnated 40. I appreciate that we saw a little bit of the parenting in the beginning of the first episode, but it wasn't like we have to watch an entire season of them being parents.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it definitely is an element. But yeah, no, we don't want to watch like some sort of like family drama now. They definitely use the baby to its full effect and then kind of toss it over, so to speak, and that's fine with me. And I love, the setup. And we were talking about how Joe is hot, even though we don't want him to be, and is problematic. But I think Joe taps into this like thing that women in particular maybe are looking for, which is a guy who's just so freaking obsessed with you. Like Joe just thinks you're perfect, and he just is like, I mean, and of course a lot of it is that chase for Joe, but I think this sort of idea that he has this intensity and he brings that intensity onto whoever his person is, and I mean, how can we not be like attracted to that?
I feel like that's why I know he's problematic, but people's love for Edward in Twilight, it was like, oh my God, he loves Bella so much. He's like watching her when she sleeps. We don't actually want that. We just like, I don't know, the idea of someone loving you that much. I don't know.
That's a good example. It's like actually creepy, but at the same time, there's sort of like this, we've been programmed to believe that that's what true love is that your husband is like obsessed with you. And of course, obviously the truth is that that's not okay, and he should have other hobbies.
Yeah, definitely. And our husbands are definitely obsessed with other things besides us.
Exactly. I think that's healthier, but it kind of makes sense that Love feels that sort of intense light being taken off of her, and she just knows something is up. She's just hyper aware that he's shifted his gaze over to someone else, a librarian, of course.
But in the first episode, it's Natalie, the next year, and she dies immediately. I was saying to you, a lesser show would have just gone with that affair and plot for an entire season, which probably still would have been great. But no, instead, she's immediately offed. And they're burying her body in the woods.
It's so great. And it's like, oh, Love is at it again. And Joe's got a real problem here. And he's like, look at what I'm doing for you. I'm taking care of this body. And the baby is there.
Oh my God.
I love, of course, the comical elements that they bring in. And it can be very dark comedy, which I love.
Now, I think the biggest transformation, and I've been seeing memes about it in everybody's minds. I can't think of the husband's name. It's Sherry, and what's Sherry's husband's name?
Hold on, let me look. I brought the casting up, so we're not constantly going, who?
Sherry and her husband. No. Isn't her name Sherry?
Yeah, her name's Sherry. Hold on. Where's Sherry's husband? Well, anyway, that big guy.
So, and my favorite meme was, it's that Chihuahua who's like growling. It's like how I felt about Sherry and her husband in the first episode. And then that's the Chihuahua smiling, how I felt about them in the last episode.
Yeah.
And like, I did not expect them to get away, first of all, but I loved their journey. And it was just so on brand for them. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I really like that. And it was kind of like surprising that I actually liked them, because she's awful in the beginning. And she's like, oh my God, my kids can't eat that and whatever. And then she ends up kind of having like a final girl moment. Which was kind of cool. And she saves her husband, even though like they accidentally shoot each other and stuff. They still love each other.
I know. It was so hilarious and yet loving and wonderful. And also like the whole element of them swinging. I mean, it had to come into play because there had to be some reason why they were going to be in this awkward situation.
Oh, so awkward. The swinging, all of it was so, it was very awkward. I'm like, where is this going? How does this have to do with anything?
How does Joe think that this is going to help get him out of the marriage?
I know. He's like, this is going to get me out. I mean, I'm sure swinging has led to the demise of some marriages, but that was all very awkward, but funny. And oh my gosh. So I've seen debates going on about like, who's worse, Love or Joe? Do you think that we should even be asking that question? Do you think there is one worse than the other?
I'm going to say Love is worse, because Joe, at least, I mean, in my mind, he's got, his motivation is more pure. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Gonna hold up in court.
No, I'm so sorry.
No, I feel the same way. Like, that's my knee-jerk reaction. It's like, well, Love's worse. But I would like to hear from some people who like support and rally behind Love. I'd like to hear what their like thinking is behind it. Like, why do you think she's doing what she's doing? Is her childhood? I mean, listen, they go into both of their childhoods. And I mean, I think Joe wins as far as most traumatic. But she almost seems like, obviously she had a problematic childhood, but she seems like this made or born, I don't know, is she a born killer? Because, she kills 40's nanny.
Yeah.
When she's younger. So it's kind of like an interesting psychology experiment. Like, why is she going around killing all these people now? Like, what is the motivation? And then they said that she actually killed her first husband.
Yeah. I know.
Holy shit.
So that's the thing. And we've said this a lot in interviews for our latest book, is just because someone's childhood or background, it doesn't excuse their behavior, but it explains it. And I think maybe we just need to write a whole book on the series You. That's what I've decided.
You. Okay. Yeah. I hope our editor's listening.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because they're doing a lot of scenes of Joe's childhood, and it just makes they know what's going to get us. They know what's going to make us be like, poor little Joe, I'm gonna make him better. I'm gonna take care of him,
Yeah.
And it just like the empathy builds and builds and builds until, you're rooting for him as usual. And it's just brilliantly done. It's not an easy thing. I think a big part of it is obviously Penn Badgley is just perfect.
He is. He's charming. He's perfectly cast. The other thing that the writers do so well, because they know what we want, all of his literary references, when he's imagining a woman he wants to be with, she's literally covered in books. Oh, the rain just happens to go off when they're in the middle of the books and they happen to make out. Like, these are all things I dream about.
I know. They know. They've been inside our heads. It's true. It's definitely, this is my kind of porn. Like, this is what I need. I need Joe kissing the librarian under the sprinkler. I mean, I am
surrounded by Scott Landon books. Like,
I heard there was Scott Landon books. I didn't see it, but that's really cool.
When I rewatched it with Mark, and I did notice the second time.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
The other thing I thought about, though, and I meant to say this to you earlier, but then I was like, I'll wait for the podcast, was I really thought that Love's texts to 40 were going to come into play on the dead phone, and they never did.
A red herring. Yeah, I did too.
Because she was like, I don't know if it's Theo's baby.
Yeah. And her whole relationship with Theo is interesting because, again, he's very cute. And I know I had a lot of empathy for him. And when he almost died, I was like, no. But, having this affair with him is not okay. And he's a kid. I mean, not technically, but he is a kid, right? I mean, he's not technically.
I think he's supposed to be like 19.
19. So I guess it's okay. But it's an interesting, like, why is she sort of going down that road? And like, again, are we wrong to sort of persecute her over that when Joe is like in love with this woman who's got this troubled situation and, has a child. Yeah. And so it's very easy to like, be like, well, what is she doing? Yeah. But they're both having some issues.
Yeah. No one is without, well, what's the word? I don't know.
Faults?
Yeah. Fun fact about the actor who plays Theo. He auditioned to be Joe in season 1. He didn't get it.
He's like a little baby.
He auditioned to be 40 in season 2. He didn't get it. He auditioned to be Theo in season 3 and he got it.
Oh, so you keep going, kids.
And he is 27, so he's a year older than Love. But he's supposed to be, he does look younger.
He does look younger. So it's okay to crush on him. He's completely... He's completely of age. Okay. Because there were some hot scenes there.
I know, they definitely were hot.
Yeah. Love him. I don't know how he would come back, but I would love to see him again.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Joe in Paris? What's that going to entail?
I don't know. I would love to see a season in Paris. That would be fun.
Me too. I mean, that's just... Speaking of porn, like Joe just in Paris eating croissants.
And like looking at old books. Like, are you kidding me? Also, I said to you pretty early on in the season, I'm like, oh my God, I think this is going to have Sweeney Todd vibe.
Yeah, you did.
And by the end, they did, it wasn't exactly like that, but he did get baked into a pie. So
to speak. Yeah. Oh, Joe, are you going to limp from now on?
Oh, baby.
And I like that the couple wanted to adopt a baby and then they got him. And I mean,
also we need to get the baby out of there because we don't need the baby around this nonsense.
The baby needs to be in a nice nuclear family like it is. It's in a sandbox playing with its dads. That's what we need for the baby. We don't need it to be like strapped to Joe's chest like Dexter. You know, that was too much.
I agree. I think they made the right choice there.
I think so too. Did Love deserve to die?
No, nobody deserves to die. But how else was Joe going to get on with his business?
I know. Sometimes the stars align. And that was epic, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
What she was doing. He realized he was so smart. Joe, you're so smart. He was ready and prepared. He knew she was poisoning him. You know, and that whole scene, talk about suspense, that whole scene when the librarian is in the, and I know, Marianne. Okay, you watched it again. Yeah. Marianne is with Love, and Love is sort of telling her, like, you don't know what you're getting into, which is fair. That's true.
Like, oh no, I was hoping she'd get out alive, and we were like convinced she was going to get murdered, and then her daughter walks in.
Yeah, so that was great suspense and tension building. And well, okay, so do you think he's going to find Marianne in Paris, or do you think he's going to find somebody else to fixate on?
I mean, knowing Joe, both. Because, you know, he's not going to be satisfied.
That's and
how would Marianne be able to trust him and take him back, so to speak?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know.
I'd love to be in that writer's room figuring it out. That's for sure. I know it's like part of me wants to be, you know, and I know this is all problematic. Okay, we already said, but part of me is like, ooh, yeah, Joe, let's go. But then it's like, I feel like it's kind of deadly to be with Joe. Let's not forget, he literally killed Beck.
I mean, he's killed every woman he's been with.
Oh, right. Yeah. So naive. I'm like, he may have accidentally.
I mean, didn't he kill Candace too?
Didn't he let her go? I can't remember, because now I'm getting the book and the show mixed up in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Who even knows anymore?
But, you know, it's probably not a great thing to be dating Joe.
No.
Probably not.
No.
We're not advocating to date Joe.
Now I'm sad. like it was ever a possibility.
I know.
You know who was perfectly cast is Marianne's ex-husband, Ryan, from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wasn't he just the perfect jerk?
Yeah, he's the perfect douchebag. Like, that was great. That was kind of a satisfying murder. Because that guy, I know you said people don't deserve to die, but as a fictional characters go, he definitely did.
Well, let's rank season 3 of You on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being you hated it, 10 being you think it's a perfect season of television. What is our scale?
It feels too on the nose to say like books. How about Joe's Toes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Aw. How many Joe's Toes do you give season 3 of You?
Well, 10, obviously, because he should have all 10. And also, I don't know what I would knock it for. Like, obviously, we already said for the millionth time it's problematic. I know. But I'm not going to knock it for that. We all know. So,
that's why you know it's good writing, funny, because we feel things that we shouldn't feel.
Like, I felt so there was just moments of great suspense. I felt not just empathy for Joe, but characters we met this season, like Theo, and there were a lot of good misdirections, like Theo's dad. You know, we thought maybe he was a murderer at some point and everything. So I thought it was just perfect. I don't think it could have been any better.
I'm also giving it 10 toes. Poor Joe. He did it himself. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. We watched it all in a row. Like, I don't think we even, I mean, we may have ordered some room service at one point.
Yeah.
We were on our book tour, but we just did it. We
watched it. And I couldn't do that with every show. Like, no. I need a breather, but it was just so suspenseful. And I love those moments of lightness. And, you know, Joe is complicated and interesting, and so is Love. Let's not forget, like, Love is complicated.
She's amazing,
and that actress is phenomenal. And so, oh my gosh, the marriage counseling scenes,
those were hilarious.
You're not murderers, hours. There's just so many great things. So, I mean, that to me is just chef's kiss.
Yes. So clever, so freaking clever. And how it's written, how it's edited, what they're showing when they're talking about certain things. I think I love it. So speaking, well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and you would think by season 3, maybe some of the themes or things that are happening aren't that interesting, or it's kind of getting, but not at all. I felt like every murder, everything that would happen was fresh in its own way. It didn't feel drawn out or overdone to me.
I agree. Now, speaking of things that Joe would love, Twin Cities friends, are you going to be in or around the Twin Cities on Saturday, November 13th? Is that the date, Meg? Am I saying the date right? We're going to be at a bookstore called Once Upon a Crime, signing our latest book, The Science of Serial Killers. What if Joe Goldberg showed up to that book
That's
signing?
what I was just thinking. I would abandon everything I just said about not dating Joe Goldberg. And I would flirt really hard. But you know what? I don't think he's going to come to our book signing because he's in Paris right now.
Yeah, that's true. And he's a fictional character.
Oh, well, that too.
But if you're around, friends, come and see us. We would love to see you. And we'll be there 2:00?
No, 12 to 2.
12 to 2. See,
I swear we have our shit together.
No, we each have half a brain currently, but together we're going to get through it.
Yeah. And we want to see you there, and we want to sign a serial killer book. And if you say that, you
say something about Joe Goldberg. Yeah.
We'll say something about Joe Goldberg and we'll sign it in your book. But now we have to think what that's going to be.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if your binding ever breaks, Joe could fix it.
Oh my God. That sounds sick.
I know. I meant it that way. Oh boy.
We have to take a cold shower after this.
Yeah, let's do that. Until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.